Hey, what's up, y'all? Bushel Billy here. It is April the 15th and currently 46 degrees and chilly out. Now, here in Western Ohio, we started Plant 2021 around April 5th, and there's been quite a bit of corn and soybeans put in the ground. Unfortunately, the weather's gotten cold since then. So we're going to head out. We're going to look at some corn that's been in the ground for 10 days now and see how it's coming along and see what we get into. Come on. So this is a conventional till field planted April the 5th, 10 days ago. And a quick check of soil temperatures. Just a scotch over 51 here in the middle of the day, which means things are plenty cool overnight. Not really quite warm enough to get any vigorous growth, but not detrimental. Just means that nothing's going to grow much. We start excavating the seed trench. We come up about 2 inches deep on our planting depth. Spacing is uniform and even, right on the money. We've got the mesocotyl and the sprout out forming the coleoptile. We got radical roots. Everything is healthy and happy, but it's cold and it's not going to grow very much. So let's take a little closer look at this guy here and see what's going on. Alright, so here's our seedling that we dug up out of the field. Everything is healthy. The germ is nice and firm. Got the radical root taken off. We got another one coming out. The mesocotyl coming out of the germ. It's moving in the right direction. And we start to see the emergence of the coleoptile here. And remember, this coleoptile is a sheath that has all the leaves of the corn plant wrapped up inside it. And it's the vessel that's going to deliver all the leaves to the top of the soil and outside. We just keep everything wrapped up in that sheath until we get above ground and everything's groovy. Now, when this was planted, soil temperatures were well into the 60s. We had good soil moisture, so the first drink of water that this germ got was nice and warm. Everything germed nice and healthy, and we started to go. My biggest concern with this right now is that in these cold temperatures, and we're sitting here in the middle of the day and soil temperature is only 51, so that means the soil temperatures have been in the 40s, and this plant material that makes up this sheath here can get really brittle. So if this really starts pushing hard and really working up through the soil profile, the danger, if it gets too cold and brittle, is that this sheath could rip on a piece of soil aggregate. It could rip on a little bit of stone. It could just rupture as it's trying to push up to the surface. And when that happens, then all the leaves just flop out the side underneath the ground. So it's too cold for this to do a whole lot of growing today, which is fine. It needs to go nice and slow and not stress this too much, so we keep all the leaves wrapped around in there and protected until we deliver them above ground. Okay, so one of the keys to remember here is when this seed was planted in the ground, temperatures are well in the 60s, soil temperatures are well in the 60s, and there was plenty of moisture. So that first bit of water the seed imbibed was nice and warm, good drink, everything started healthy. The danger when temperatures fall off like this and we're moving forward, if we come back and plant in the soil temperatures that are in the low 40s, if there's moisture there, that first drink of water the seed can get will be under 45 degrees temperature. That could possibly kill the germ, or we start seeing that corkscrewing effect that we've seen from time to time. The other danger is, especially in conventional till, is if we work it bone dry, we put the seed in shallow, it lays there in dry dirt. And the next rain event is cold, and the rainwater is below 45 degrees. That's a corn killer. It can kill the germ or cause the twisting and corkscrewing as well. So this stuff started with a nice warm drink of water. It started growing. Things cooled off. So at this point, everything just stops and waits for the sun to come back out. Not a big concern. Like I said, the biggest concern is that coleoptile getting a little brittle. It could tear itself, but outside of that, everything should be just fine. It'll sit there and wait till warm temperatures come back. Now, a lot of you have heard me talk in the past that when we get a cool spell during planting season and the plants quit growing, we're at increased risk for seedling blight and seedling disease. In this particular case, we're only 10 days away from planting. The seed treatment is strong, it's in full force. Everything is being protected. Everything's working the way it should, so I'm not particularly concerned about seedling blight at this time. Now, if we get them up V1, V2, we get another cold snap, everything sits in wet soil, nothing grows, then we're 25, 30 days out from planting, seed treatment levels have declined. That creates more opportunity for pathogens to enter the plant, and we see seedling blights that show up around the V4, V5 stage. But for right now, we're not at a great risk of that. Everything's just kind of paused until the sun comes back and warm things up. Now, how quickly that'll be, if you remember calculating your GDUs, you take the daytime high, the daytime low, average them, and subtract 50. So it takes 120 GDUs for a corn plant to emerge. And if you have daytime highs of 55 and nighttime lows of 40, you're only gaining a GDU or two a day. So we're going to need to see temperatures back up in the 60s. You know, a high of 60, a low of 40, subtract 50, that's a wash. So we're going to need temperatures and nighttime temperatures up, start accumulating GDUs quicker, and get this stuff up the ground. So I've got guys out planting today. Soil temperatures 50 degrees, air temperatures 46. We're looking at 20 days to get that corn out of the ground. We much rather have it around 10 days. So it's going to take an awful lot of sun, a lot of heat to get this stuff on up. So, but for now, everything looks cool. It's sitting there, it's behaving, it's just waiting on the sun. Now, planting into this cold weather has a little bit more risk because we don't know what that water temperature is going to be for that first drink of water to the seed and whether or not we'll see chill damage. But for right now, I don't have any outstanding concerns. We're just waiting on things to warm back up. Something to keep in mind as we head back into the field, some of us for the second time, some for the first time. First one is just because it's dried out on top doesn't mean it's fit at seeding depth. This is the time of year we see a lot of sidewall compaction. Guys get out there a day too early, and even though it's smooth on top, we're rolling dust on top. At seeding depth at 2 inches, it's way too wet, and as the openers cut through, we're smearing the sidewalls and creating sidewall compaction, which gives us those wonderful tomahawk hooks and anemic plants late in the season. So it's just not a matter of going out and kicking the dirt, seeing if it's dry on top. You got to dig down to seeding depth in several places across the field, not just at the driveway. Go down to the low spots where it's wet and make sure that it is dry enough at seeding depth that we're not creating sidewall compaction with the planter. The second thing is things may feel great, may feel warm right now, but always keep a lookout of what's coming up in the next couple days. So if you see a forecast like this, where once it starts raining, you see a sharp decline in temperatures, that's signs of a real cold rain. If you plant too closely up to that real cold rain event, you're increasing your chance of chilling inhibition, or it may kill the germ altogether. It may corkscrew the mesocotyl and just mess up the entire stand and get us into a replant situation. So it's hard when things are planting nice, things are moving. It's hard to stop that machine. But if you've got a significant chance of rain and you see a 20-degree drop in temperatures during that rain event, if you're within 48 hours, there's a good chance that cold rainwater will be the first drink of water that seed gets. So, to be cautious, you'd want to stop well ahead and make sure there's enough soil moisture to get that seed started well ahead of the rain event. So, but anyways, it's been a cool spring, but we've got good weather, good soil conditions. It seems like it's going to be a great start. I'm kind of excited for the sun to come back so we can get at it again. Plant 21 rolls on. Be safe.